את היום בשנה, מעשים קטנים, אהבה גדולה. לילות וגם ימים, בכל מה שהיה, ועכשיו אוסף את המילים, אשאיר לך בחזרה. אמא שלי, ובזכותך אני, מה שאני היום, ומה שיהיה מחר. אמא שלי.
Rabotai, welcome back to Dalad Amot shel Halacha Eno Lakadosh Baruch Hu B'olamum Ela Arba Amot shel Halacha Bilvad. We are continuing today in a new halacha in Siman Reish Tzadik Tet in Halacha Zayin. This will be part 1 of the shiur. Before we begin the halacha, a small introduction from another Siman in Siman Shin in Halacha Aleph. Everybody understands that there's an obligation to do Havadala on Motzi Shabbat. But at the same time, how many of us know that we have a responsibility and we have an obligation to go ahead and do Milav Malka, Sudar Revi'it? What does Milav Malka mean? Milav Malka literally means, Milav means to escort Malka, the queen, the Shabbat queen. So, why is this so important? If a person does not do Sudar Revi'it on Motzi Shabbat, when it comes to accepting Shabbat, you make a nice table, singing Shalom Aleichem, you do everything beautiful, Eshet Chayil. But why when it comes to Sudah Revi'it, which is Milav Malka, why is it when it comes to escorting Shabbat, we don't give it that proper respect? And this is what we want to try to see. This halakha is actually part of that halakha. That's why I want to first, I know even though it's in Siman Shin, but you'll understand why. I want to read for you the halakha of the importance of going ahead and doing Sudah Revi'it after Mot Shabbat. You're tired, you're full. We have to understand, when Shabbat comes in, you eat the meal, you understand, you work around it not to be full, so you could enjoy, you could have appetite for the Shabbat meal on Friday night. Same thing for Saturday night. You have to also be chacham to see, not to overfill yourself by Sudah Shalishit, so you can go ahead and eat Sudah Revi'it. And not only that, you know, now it's we're in the winter, so Shabbat is very early. So people, they sit down 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1:30, and then they get up from the table 3 o'clock, 3:30. They come to shul, and now you have to do Sudah. Now you have to go ahead and you have to do Sudah Shalishit. That they can't also do. Oh, Rabbi, I can't. I'm full. Oh, I'm full. We have to understand, just because you're full doesn't give you the exemption from Sudah Shalishit, even though there are laws to go around it. But a person has to be smart. You have to have your head on your shoulders. Understand, you see the time is short. Make your Sudah Shniya, the second meal, on Friday, not on Friday, on Saturday afternoon, make it a little bit earlier. Make it at 12 o'clock, make it 11:30. So you can finish at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So at least until you're going to go ahead and have Sudah Shalishit, it's another 2 hours later. So that's it, Rabotai, the same concept over there. Because remember, however, we have 4 meals. The first meal is Friday night. The second meal is Saturday afternoon, meaning, right, like around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. The third meal is Sudah Shalishit. The fourth meal is after Shabbat is over. So these are the 4 meals, and this is the meal that we speak about right now in this halakha, in Siman Shin Halacha Aleph, that how important it is to do it. We take 2 first meals, it's very important by us. The third meal by some, yes, some no. Fourth meal almost by everybody, almost no. It's very important, Rabotai, to go ahead and try to emphasize how important it is, not only for you, but for your wife and your children. You have an obligation to go ahead and have Milav Malka. Because if you're not doing Milav Malka, how are you escorting the queen? Like saying, okay, bye, that's it, finish. Usually when people come, you make a nice feast. When people leave, you also make a nice feast. Over here also, Shabbat comes in, nice table. Shabbat leaves, nice table. I want to read it for you, the halacha inside. The Shulchan Aruch says, in Siman Shin, in Halacha Aleph, that's Siman 300 in Halacha number 1. Lo oilam, something very strange. You won't see the word lo oilam a lot of times inside the Shulchan Aruch. What does that mean, le olam? Do you know what it means, le olam? Le olam can mean forever, can mean always, can mean really. But why that language of le'olam could have the Shulchan Aruch said, Yisader Adam Shulchanu b'mot Shabbat kidei lelavot et Shabbat. The Shulchan Aruch could have easily said, prepare your table on Shabbat in order to escort the Shabbat. That's it. Why did the Shulchan Aruch have to go ahead and have to say le'olam? Always. He used the language le'olam. Le'olam yisader Adam Shulchanu. Always a person should arrange his table b'mot Shabbat on Saturday night. Kidei lelavot et Shabbat, in order to escort the Shabbat. Do you know why he says le'olam? To emphasize how important it is to go ahead and have and to do Milav and Malka. And to have food, Rabotai, at Sudar Revi'it. Afilu in a tzarich el only, and even if you're only going to eat 1 ounce of bread, doesn't matter. You have to make sure that your table is set up nice. Look what the Mishnah Berurah says. He said that Adam Shulchanu v'chulu. Ha'inu lifros. What does that mean? A person should arrange his table. He says that means to say lifros mapa al shulchanu. You should go ahead and you should spread a tablecloth on your table, derech kavod, in an honorable way. Just like you have a nice tablecloth during Shabbat, you have to have a nice tablecloth after Shabbat. Also, other things that you have whenever you have a meal. What do you have? Salads, nice drinks, nice plates. However you arrange your table for the first meal, for the second meal, Sudah shel Yishid Rabotai, depends where you're davening, where you're eating, in the shul or at home. But if you are at home and you have the possibility to make it nice, it should also be nice. But now he's telling you not only for Sudah Rishonah, Shniyah, and Shalishit, but also for Sudah Revi'it. He wants you to make sure that you have your table is arranged beautifully. Nice tablecloth. Accustomed the way you do with the other meals, should be also the same thing with the fourth meal. However, he says, but the difference between this meal, the Sudah Revi'it, and the other meals is that you're not obligated to go ahead and now cook other types of foods and prepare more than what you're actually going to eat. Over here, you can go ahead and do whatever you need. Right? Whatever, a few salads that you're going to eat. I don't know, you're going to have meat, you're going to have this, whatever it is. But you're not obligated to go all out. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this halakha. It's a very, very important halakha. What does this have to do with us? Now, let's go back over here. When the Shulchan Aruch says in Halacha Siman and Siman Reish Tzadik Tet, Hamavdil al Yain al Shulchanu, when he's going to go ahead and he's going to do Havadala on his table, Afilu hivdil kodem shenatal yadav, even if you did Havadala before he washed his hands, poter hayayin shebetoch hamazon. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to exempt the wine that's inside your meal. She'en tzarich levarech alav. You don't need to go ahead and bless on it. Now you see what happened over here. What does that mean? Poter hayayin shebetoch hamazon, that you're going to exempt the wine that's inside your meal because you need to have Sudah Revi'it. Something just struck me. 1 second. Well, 1 second. When it comes to Sudah shel Yishit, how does the Shulchan Aruch? Let me see the language for 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. Something just struck me. I want to see how does the Shulchan Aruch emphasize Sudah shel Yishit. Just let me see what he says. 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Here, Shulchan Aruch in Siman Reish Tzadik Aleph. That's 291 in Halacha Aleph and Halacha number 1. Look at the language he says. Yezahir mi'od. Same thing, but he emphasizes over there. He usually read the word le'olam in Siman Shin. Always. But here he says a person has to be very much careful. L'kayem Sudah shel Yishit, to go ahead and fulfill the third meal. So he doesn't use the word le'olam. He just says that a person should be very careful. But over there in the Siman Shin, he says le'olam, a person has to go ahead and he has to arrange his table very nice by Sudah Revi'it. So we see Rabotai is given much more importance because people maybe don't take it important. So that's why maybe the Shulchan Aruch had to emphasize that language always. People don't listen. Sudar Rivit, Shabbat is out. That's it. We're back to our normal schedule. No, you still want to be able to have that Kiddusha, that holiness from Shabbat. You want to be able that it should still go into after Shabbat. Okay. All right, Rabot, I just wanted to see that. Okay. So now when we go back to our case over here, what is the Shulchan Aruch telling us? The Shulchan Aruch is saying that if a person is going to go ahead and do Havdalah now on a cup of wine, but listen to the language, even if you're doing the Havdalah before you wash your hands for the fourth meal, that's why I did Siman Shin for you. Because after, when you're going to go ahead and you're going to eat your bread meal and you're going to have wine in that meal, he tells you don't have to bless. Correct. המבדיל על היין השולחן אפילו הבדיל קודם שנטע על ידיו פותר היין שבתוך המזון שאין צריך לברך עליו. Now, this is the first opinion. This is the stam. ויש אומרים, but it's not so simple. And I'll show you why. Because really what's happening right now is we'll see that there's a machloket. Maybe really you should have first wash your hands and then do Havdalah. If you're doing Sudar Rivit right away, you shouldn't first be doing Havdalah. The Yeshua are going to tell you should do Havdalah only afterwards. Rabotai, just give me 1 second. I think my cleaning lady came. 1 second. I'm so sorry. I keep on hearing her by the door. 1 second. Okay. Okay, where were we? Okay, right. So we're going to see the Yeshua are going to tell you have a very big problem with this. Since you're going to go ahead now and have your Sudar Rivit, why are you doing Havdalah beforehand? Who tells you that this Havdalah that you're going to do now, you're going to go ahead and you're going to bless on this cup of wine? Who tells you that eventually when I'm going to go ahead and have my Sudar Rivit, that the wine that I'm going to have in my table now, who tells you I don't have to bless on this? So this is the machloket, okay? We'll see this inside. So let's do it one more time from the Stam opinion and then the Yesh Omrim. Hamavdil al hayayin, one who does Havdalah on a cup of wine, al shulchano, on his table, afilu hivdil kodum shinatal yadav, even if you did Havdalah before you wash your hands, poter hayayin shebetoch hamazon, you're going to exempt the wine which is in the middle of your meal, which is going to be in the middle of your meal, because remember, now you're going to go ahead and wash your hands, say Hamot, and now you're going to go ahead and have more wine. She'en tzarich levarech alav, you don't need to bless on that cup of wine that you're going to have in the middle of your meal afterwards. V'yesh omrim, here we go. And there are those that say, de lo patar, nope, it does not exempt the wine in the meal, ela imken natal yadav kodem shehivdil, unless you washed your hands before you did the Havdalah. If I went ahead and I washed my hands for the bread meal, for Sudar Rivit, and now I'm going to go ahead and do the Havdalah, then we're going to tell you that the wine that you're going to drink in the middle of the meal will actually go ahead and help you for the wine. But what happens if a person went ahead and he did Havdalah beforehand, before washing for the bread meal? Tzarich levarech acharav baracha me'en gimel, meaning me'en shalosh. You need to go and you have to bless after it the al hagefan al pri hagefan blessing. He says this, the Tosafot u'Mordechai perik ketzad mivarachin. Fine. He brings down that from the Tosfot and the Mordechai. Now, so you see clearly over here that there is a machloket between the Stam and the Yesh. The Stam tell you, even if you didn't wash your hands for the fourth meal, and you went ahead and you first did the Havdalah, then you went and you washed your hands for the fourth meal, now that you're going to want to have wine, we're going to tell you that this bracha is going to help you for the wine inside of your meal. That is the Stam opinion. Yeshua, we're going to tell you, no, absolutely not. The only time they're going to tell you that the wine of Havdalah is going to help you for the wine inside of the bread meal, that's only if you first went ahead and you washed your hands. The lo patar elim ken natal yadav kodem shivdil. You wash your hands before you did the Havdalah. Once you wash your hands before you do the Havdalah, then we're going to tell that the cup of wine of Havdalah is going to allow you to continue drinking the wine in the bread meal. Why? Because everything happened after the bread meal, not before the bread meal. If we look into Sivkat and Havdalah, and Rabotai, by the way, it's not so pashut over here because we'll see that we'll see it's going to go like the Yesh Umrim. Because you have to remember again, whenever we have this problem of one opinion says you have to bless, and then another opinion says you don't have to bless, you have to remember the rule. Even though it's a stam v'yesh, usually when you know the stam v'yesh, halacha is like yesh, the other way around. Stam v'yesh halacha is like stam. In the case where there's a suffix, when it comes to brachot, should you bless the blessing? Should you not bless the blessing? We're going to tell you, safek brachot lakel, not to go with that original opinion. Meaning, in our case over here, the stam said, even if you didn't wash your hands, you first did Havdalah, then you washed, the stam says you're allowed to go ahead and drink the wine inside the bread meal, and that bracha that you did on Havdalah is going to carry over to over here. That's the stam. So you could technically do it because stam, we could follow him. Come to Yeshomrim, they say, no. If you did Havdalah, then wash your hands, it doesn't help you. So that comes out that if I'm going to go like the stam, I might be doing a bracha levatala, I might be saying a blessing in vain, according to the Yesh Omrim. So that's what Rabotai will see in the following classes. The Rabbi Dahani is going to show us how to actually go around the whole situation, because it's not so simple. Now, before we conclude, let's just do Sivkat Chavdalad and the stam. And the Yesh Omrim will take up on in the next class. The stam says like this. For the stam, Sivkat Chavdalad. This whole halacha that we're going to tell you, according to the stam, that Havdalah helps you. When is that case talking about? Comes the Mishnah and he's telling the Sivkat Chavdalad, Al Shulchano. What does the Shulchan Aruch mean when he says Hamavdil Alayan Al Shulchano? Where else am I going to do it, right? What is it? If a person does Havdalah on his table, of course I'm going to do it on my table. Where else can I do it? Comes the Shulchan Aruch and it tells you, Lav Davka, not necessarily on your table. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go ahead and do Havdalah on your table. That's not what it's coming to teach you. The Shulchan Aruch is coming to exclude another room. Because if a person is going to go ahead and do Havdalah over there, that's considered to be something else. I'll explain to you, Rabotai. However, but if we are in that same cheder where he's doing the Havdalah, Chashuv al Shulchan, it's considered to be that you're doing it on your table. Why? Because in their mind they want to go ahead and drink afterwards inside the Su'udah. Because that they're going to eat after this, after doing Havdalah. Now, Rabotai, just let me explain this Mishnah Berurah. What happened over here? The Shulchan Aruch said, Hamavdil al hayan al shulchano. You would have thought that the Shulchan Aruch is specifically speaking about that when you went ahead and you did Havdalah on a cup of wine on the table where you're going to have the Suda Rivi eat now, that's the way the Shulchan Aruch sounds. Comes the Mishnah Berurah says, Lav Davka. Not necessarily you're doing it on the table where you're going to have the fourth meal. If you have a kitchen, and inside the kitchen you have an island, now you want to go ahead and you want to do the Havdalah on the island, for example. But your table is over there, right? You have the kitchen over here, and you have the dining room area, which is connected. I don't know if you guys ever seen houses where they have the kitchen and the dining room. They're all in one room. They're all connected in one room. You have a island over here, and then you have the dining room table over there, where you're going to go ahead and eat in the dining room. Comes the Mishnah Berurah and he's telling like this. When the Shulchan Aruch says Hamavdil al hayan al shulchano, it doesn't necessarily mean on the table which you're going to eat the Sudar Rivit in the dining room. No. It means you could even do it in the kitchen on the island of Havdalah. This is going to help you to be able to go ahead afterwards, eat the Milava Malka in the dining room, and when you're going to drink wine there, according to the Stam opinion, this bracha is going to be able to transfer over to there. However, he says, what did the Shulchan Aruch teach us with this? A very important concept. You would have thought, just like I can do the Havdalah on an island in the kitchen table, and then go and have my meal over there in my dining room, and then drink the wine and allow this bracha to go take effect over there, you would have thought, what happens if I would go now to another room? Let's say a person doesn't want to do Havdalah. Let's say they have an elderly in the family, somebody who can't come out, can't come out of the room. They can't walk. They can't go up the stairs. They can't go down the stairs. It's hard. So everybody wants to go to the grandma or the grandpa, or somebody's not feeling well. They're in their bed. So you want to go to that room and you want to do Havdalah so they can hear Havdalah. Because like we learned before, if you don't hear Havdalah, you can't eat. So everybody's going to go to that room, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to do Havdalah there. You would have thought to say, what is the difference if I went ahead and I did the Havdalah on the kitchen island versus if I'm doing the Havdalah in another room? Just like I'm not in my place, I'm away from the dining room table, so too when I'm in that room, I'm away from the dining room table. Just like from the kitchen island, the blessing helps for the wine during the meal, so too when I'm in the other room, let the blessing of the Havdalah of Borei Peri Kevin help for me when I'm eating in the middle of the meal and drinking wine. That's what I would have thought. Comes the Mishnah and he tells you, that case, why do you have to say Hamavdil al Hayayin al Shulchano? Meaning to say there has to be in the same room that you're going to do the Havdalah. In the same room where the table is found where you're going to have Sudah if you eat. Alright, can I read it for you now inside the Mishnah Berurah? I don't know why my cleaner should close my door. I needed the air, fine. Okay. You know something? Give me 1 second. Oh, man. Sometimes I think they work for us or we work for them. Okay. Oh, Baruch Hashem, Hashem sends us them because of them we're able to sit, learn, believe in Baruch Hashem. Okay. Now, so let's do the Mishnah Berurah one more time. Now you guys, you'll understand the Mishnah Berurah much better. Siv Gadol Havdalah al Shulchanim lav davka. Not necessarily. Doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and do the Havdalah specifically on the table where you're going to have your Sudah Revit. No. V'lo ba lema'et ele cheder acher. Came to Shulchan Aruch to exclude another room. Disham havdalah midi achrina. Because over there, the Havdalah you're going to do over there, it's something else. It's not really connected to the fourth meal that you're going to have later on. Aval, here we go. Be'oto cheder. But what happens if you are in that same room where you're going to have the Sudah Revi'it, but you're only going to do the Havdalah in a different place, but it's the same room, like the kitchen island case? Aval be'oto cheder. But if you're in that same room, Chashuv al shulchano. It's considered that as if you're doing the Havdalah on the table where you're going to go ahead and you're going to have your fourth meal. So here, Rabotai, that's what he's telling you. So why should this really help? So he tells you, because in your mind you want to go ahead and you want to drink afterwards, bisuda in the meal, that you're going to eat over there after this, meaning after doing the Havdalah. So Rabotai, so we see over here, as a small review, according to the Stam, I told you before that listen, there's much more B'li Neder, but just according to the Stam opinion, we're going to tell you like this, that if a person wants to go ahead and he wants to do Havdalah anywhere in the room where he's going to have his fourth meal, even if he didn't go ahead and wash his hands before the Havdalah, meaning to say that he did the Havdalah, and only after that he washed his hands, we're going to tell him, Poter hayayin shebetoch hamazon, that is going to exempt the wine that he's going to have during the fourth meal. She'ein tzarich levarech alav, you don't need to bless on it. And we saw something very important in the Mishnah Berurah and the Sivkat Chavdalad. Why did the Shulchan Aruch have to tell us Hamavdil Hamavdil al yain al shulchano. Why do you have to say al shulchano? No, not necessarily on the table. It's coming to exclude that if you're going to do Havdala in another room, that Havdala over there, the bracha of Borei Pri Geffen that you did for the Havdala there, that's not going to help you for the wine that you're going to have in the fourth meal. B'ezrat Hashem Rabotai, in the following class, we'll see the Yeshomrim, and we'll see what we paskin and how we should go about it if we do want to do Havdala before having Sudat Revid, because it's not so simple like we saw. Anyway, have a great day. Baruch Adonai L'Olam. Amen ve'amen.